Hey everybody, it's Galmadex and welcome back to the Avatar The Last Airbender Early Access event for my final draft. We're in the last hour of the event here, and the set will go live tomorrow. So thanks again to Wizards of the Coast for inviting me to the Early Access event and allowing me to play with all of these cards for free for promotional purposes. And without further ado, let's get into the pack one, pick one of the brand new set. We've got an Obsessive Pursuit here, and I had a lot of fun with the black-white sacrifice deck that we drafted, and this looks like a really strong rare for that kind of deck. You get a clue token every single turn, so you will always have expendable sacrifice fodder, and if you are sacrificing stuff turn over turn, you're also buffing up your creatures and getting some lifelink onto the board potentially with this card. This seems like a really nice card for that kind of black-white sack deck, but there's also a really cool card for like a very multicolored allies deck there. Pick number two. Doesn't look like anything incredible for black-white sacrifice. The Swamp Snare Trap or the Path to Redemption would be okay filler removal, as would the Sandbender Storm. There's a Zuko Conflicted, though, which is a very interesting card, so some very positive effects on this. You do lose a lot of life, but a 2-mana 2/3, make it a 3/4 draw card, get an extra mana out of it for your first few turns. That's really strong if you can sacrifice it before you end up giving him to your opponent. So black-red in a sacrifice-focused deck could be a good spot for it if we play a lot of the sacrifice-themed black spells that are more for like the black-white kind of strategy, but that's how you can get Zuko in the deck. So I'm going to draft Zuko here, just because I don't think there's anything super crazy in black or white, but I'm not super married to this card. If we get a great signpost black-white sacrifice uncommon, I'll probably still head in that direction. But Zuko could be a cool way to go with things as well. And then here's Zhao as well, showing off that even in black-red, even in Rakdos, there are some sacrifice synergies. This obviously being fantastic with clue tokens. You attack in, and the Firebending ability gives you 2 mana during combat. You can use that mana during combat on instants or activated abilities, but it won't still be around during your main phase. But that's fine, because that mana can still be used to sacrifice our many, many clue tokens with a card like Obsessive Pursuit. So Zhao, Zuko, and Obsessive Pursuit looks like a really cool start towards trying to play like a black-red sacrifice deck instead of the other way around here. Pick number 4. We can play Heibai even in a non-white deck, thanks to the hybrid mana cost. It's double black and 2, but just another good sacrifice card. The Kyoshi Warriors seems really good for these kinds of decks, as does the Kyoshi Battle Fan. This is 2 different permanents you can sacrifice. But none of our cards currently care about sacrificing. None of our permanents currently can sacrifice anything other than like clue tokens, which can sack themselves. So I'm going to go for the Heibai first, but Kyoshi Battle Fan's certainly high up on my pick order here. Pick number 5. Big filler finisher, the Rough Rhino Cavalry seems fine. Filler card draw with abandoned attachments. This can replay a bunch of creatures from everybody's grave, but then they just go away. In the end step, you have to sacrifice them all. They don't get sacrificed until the end steps. It's not like they're getting any Zhao buffs or any Obsessive Pursuit buffs. So I don't even think that card really works in this deck. It just seems like a cool combo-y card for Constructed. I'll just take the pretty powerful looking white combat trick if we get pushed to black-white sack instead. And here's a fine black combat trick, Azula Always Lies. Yeah, Revelations just looks good if you try to play like full mono red, which is a fun thing to try to do. You can try to play monocolored cards or monocolored decks in this set with the amount of hybrid mana and colorless spells available. It's possible. Fire Nation Raider looks really nice, giving us a clue token to sack. We are going to need to get a lot more 2 and 3 mana creatures so that I know I can attack on that turn. Although Boomy Bash is good too, but I think black has a lot of removal, so hopefully we can get better removal spells out of black instead of having to use the red removal like the Boomy Bash. I think the Deserters are a lot better than the Peddlers. But they have sack synergies, and we can play a different archetype than we did last draft, go black-red instead. Some more solid cheap white creatures for the sack deck, but the Battle Fan can fit into that deck too. And again, if I can play a different color pair, I will. So we'll lean towards black-red. There's only 2 of these cards that would not also go into black-white sack. So if we get a cool rare for that deck, and just the way the draft's been going, white looks really open. Maybe we actually will still have to do just the same deck again. Alpa's a lot of mana, but pretty strong. Both of these removal spells have their own flaws. Do like Path to Redemption being able to get sacked. Take Path to Redemption there. Oh, wow. Pick 11 Kyoshi Warriors. I do think Fire Nation Raiders also probably good if we go black-red. But as you've seen these last couple packs, there's been a lot of white. I'm going to go for the Warriors. Another Battle Fan. Wonderful. Whichever way we go. Get a last pick white creature and Water Tribe Captain. And then open a white rare as well. Create X 1/1s and then put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. So create X 2/2s and buff everybody else. So 4 mana for 2 2/2s and a counter on your other stuff. 5 mana for 3 2/2s and a counter on everybody else. This seems really strong. As does Raven Eagle. Get a clue token when it enters and every time it attacks, as long as you're exiling creatures from the grave and you're draining your opponent for life every time you're drawing a second card each turn. When the pack is too strong and the just insane power level of the pack bums you out, because it's like, I can't take both of these, but I want to take both of these. That'd be crazy. If I take Raven Eagle, I still don't have to lock in on my second color yet, but I feel like United Front is probably even better. This card seems absolutely nuts. So I'm going to take United Front there. And we'll go black-white here. I like Callous Inspector in this archetype. 1 mana, 1/1 menace has a good death trigger for your sack stuff. You get creatures on the board on turn 1. Heibai would be a fine card to wheel, but I don't think I want to take it this highly because we got triple 4-drop already. Yeah, let's spread out that mana curve more, getting a good 1 mana creature. Fire Navy Trebuchet is really good with Pirate Peddlers. Decent with Heibai, the turn that you play the Heibai. Not so good with Obsessive Pursuit, because this doesn't care about how many cards you've sacked after combat. It cares how many cards you sacked before combat, and this always sacks in the end step. But there are a lot of cards that this will work really well with. In particular, like the black-white Signpost Uncommon, the non-hybrid one is really good with it. It's 1 and a black, and every time you sack something, you get a 1/1. That is super good with the Trebuchet. Here's one of those solid 2 mana filler creatures. Really don't mind that. There's also a black-white duel. That would be good. Those both seem really nice. Some pretty cool other uncommons as well. Well, let's get a 2/2 on curve. Or not a 2/2 on curve, but a 2-drop on curve. Pick 5 looks pretty weak. Filler removal if we don't get enough. Pick 6. Avatar Enthusiasts into United Front is pretty crazy. But we are also a deck that wants to go really wide, so the Wandering Musicians to +1/+0 everybody is also pretty good. Go Enthusiasts. Pick 7. Another Avatar Enthusiasts. Sun Warriors towards Boros. I feel like that's not somewhere we're going to end up here, ideally. There's the Barrels, which works with sack synergies and also fixes mana a little. I'll take the Barrels. I think that's better filler removal for this deck than Zuko's Exile. Another Azula Always Lies. Another Deserters on 2. We wheel the Heibai. 4 mana 5/5 if we sack a Battle Fan or a 1/2 Deserters or a 1/2 Inspector or a main phase 2 Boulder token from the Trebuchet. These look real strong. Pick 11. Warden, Exile, Airbending lesson all look okay. Take the Warden. Take an Indoctrination. And let's see what pack 3's got for us. Razor Rings. Oh no, Aang's Iceberg is just way better. This is an instant speed Oblivion Ring. 2 and a white. Instant speed. When it enters, exile another non-land permanent till it leaves the battlefield, and you can sack it to scry 2 if you want. Like in response to them trying to removal spell it. Firelord Zuko buffs the whole board every time you're like casting your airbended cards, your stuff from exile. That's cool, but nowhere near as good as Iceberg here for us. Let's grab Aang's Iceberg. Pack 3, pick 2. There's another Zhao. Another Azula Always Lies, another Vindictive Warden. Take another Zhao. Pack 3, pick 3. Heartless Act is great removal with very depressing art. Super sad looking. But it's great removal, so I'm going to take it. Judy seems really cool. Surveil 1. Get a copy. And just like sack one of our clues that's sitting around. Or one of our 1/1s or 1/2s that's sitting around. Spread them out and get a bunch of different Judys. Yeah, I like Judy. It's a pretty fun little build around-y ability. Here's another token producer, Suki, Kyoshi Warrior. Spits out another creature every time she attacks. And it's double white and 2, so castable. There's the Toils of War, absolute perfection. That is so good with so many different cards in this deck. But really, really good with the Trebuchet. Getting those free sacrifices every turn. Love to see that. We opened the Toils of War. Here's 2 1/1s to sack to cards like Judy and Heibai. I like that. Fire Nation Engineer doesn't seem terrible either. Get a counter every single turn you're attacking. But definitely more interested in more cheap expendable creatures. Like not an awful Southern Air Temple deck, but I still don't love 4 mana, 1+1/+1 counter on everybody. We just have the way better version of United Front. Play a one of Merchants, or maybe another Path. I really don't think I'm going to play double Path. So I'll grab the Beetle-headed Merchants. I'm not playing more 4 mana spells. I'm probably cutting these 2 legends. So I just have 1 of 3 different good 4 mana legends. So, not taking the 4 mana 3/5 thing. Or it's not a 3/5, it's a 2/5, but it attacks and gives everybody +1/+0, so it plays like a 3/5 on attacks. I guess I should specify, not technically a 2/5. Solid team avatar deck, we're going pretty wide. So removal or big finisher. Just attack with 1/1/1 every turn, but that 1/1's now like a 6/6 if we just have a bunch of 1/1s. Doubt I'm playing any of these, but may be curious. Farm Animals is a main deckable. Naturalize, we can sack at instant speed to trigger stuff that cares about sacrificing. Okay, 54 cards. We're gonna cut 14 out of this deck. Oh boy. Gonna try to cut down pretty quickly as I've been doing. To save time to get more games in. Especially this time around, we are in the last 48 minutes of the event now. $52 cards, 19 creatures. I want to cut too many creatures. But I've also got these three. United Front and Double Battle Fan are more creatures, essentially. We've got Iceberg, Barrels, and Heartless Act for great removal. That's triple removal there. Team Avatar is also removal. That's 4 removal. If I cut all this, 5 more to cut. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It would just be cut all this too. That would end up as 14 creatures, plus United Front is 15, plus Double Battle Fan is 17 creatures. Which I think is where we want to be. Very high creature count. All right, could probably build it better, but that is going to be more than good enough for me here to get into that gameplay and see how far this one can take us. Here we are for game 1. Not a super impressive hand, but we got both of our colors and plenty 2-mana creatures to get us started. Judy immediately makes the hand way more impressive. If they don't blow up Judy immediately, then our turn 3 is to make a Judy copy by sacking a Battle Fan, which seems pretty sick. What on earth is this? Jasmine Dragon Tea Shop. So they're an ally deck for sure. So that's any color for allies, and it can spit out ally tokens for 5. Cool stuff. Here's Battle Fan. Surveil. Land 5. Not super nice. I could play Suki on 4, and then for 5 mana I can go spell, and use a Judy. Yeah, I can take land 5 actually. The army of Judys appears. I'm sure if I watched the show, I would be very excited right now. This is going to be a flavorful game. We're going to have like 50 Judys out. All of their allies come with a +1/+1 counter and haste. Okay, that's terrifying. They have 2 of the rare ally land. We're going to get full-on 5-color allied here. They got perfect mana. Jeez, there goes Suki. Sadness. And that thing hastes out. Oh, Lord. I'd have to lose both my Judys to kill that? Okay, luckily they didn't attack with it. If they did, I would double block, but I would be sad about it. Say bye. Oh, man. I think I just do 1 Judy here. Will that land? Do they have an instant speed way to spit out like 1,000,000 allies? The one I can think of is 2 allies they could flash in. So I would need 6 power toughness here. Sure. So this way, if they have the 2 mana, 2 allies at instant speed, we still kill the Avatar Enthusiasts. If they don't have that, they just get to kill 2 Judys, so it's worse if they don't have anything instant speed there than just blocking with 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 2. Team Avatar can blow up the Jailer. Feels pretty good. I'm actually going to run out the Merchant first, so I can do 5 damage instead of 4, so it's slightly more likely. Ever so slightly more likely to resolve. It resolves through a removal spell. Skis back, and we pass. Oh, right, they had the tea shops. They could have activated a tea shop to get a +1/+1 counter is probably the little trick kind of thing they were going for there. Okay. Does the creature come out tapped and attacking? Dang it. Yeah, so that creature's going to die immediately. For no sack value. Merchant goes back to hand, not to field. Play a Haybuy and a Judy. Toils of War with Judy. Oh my god. We are the synergy champion this game. I mean, I don't know about that. They're on an ally deck with like all allies on the board, so they've got major synergy going on in their favor as well. They do have the Deserter's Disciple Nombo, where these have nothing to make unblockable. Their stuff's too big because of the +1/+1 counters, but once they make an ally token off the tea shop, they can make those unblockable each turn. Okay. Draw a card. Get a 1/1. Draw land. Judy and Surveil. Two 1/1s, yeah, I like that. Yeah, at some point I just gotta let Suki trade into something. Let's get one of these things off the board. Okay, Waterbender eliminated. Oh, and they still have the mana to make an ally. Master is very threatening. And the haste as well. Yeah, Master's really bad for me. Draw a card off the attack. They force a bad block here. We have to kill this thing, though. We can't let that go every turn. God dang it. Well, I'm pretty sure we lose this game. But this was still a really good showing from our deck, right? Because we're getting like crazy synergy off all commons and uncommons here. We are going to die to an incredible bomb rare of Katara. And we're losing to like really good rare synergies. Protesters plus double T shop plus Katara. So, I mean, that's just going to happen. But Katara just wipes the floor with us. They can make their whole board like 10 10s or something. Absolutely absurd. It's a solid draw if the game was going to go long enough, but it's not going to. I need to draw into removal to kill Katara. So I think I need to sack Inspector for the clue here. And sack the clue. It's not it. Unblockable plus cast Katara plus Waterbend everybody to hit me for a ton. Oh yeah, that'll do it. Give them both unblockable and then make them like 6 power off of the Waterbending ability. Or not? We were out of cards in hand. We were dead on board. Yeah, we were dead on board if they just tapped 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They had the 6 creatures to tap. We could have taken lethal there. Doesn't matter. Because I draw a land. Well, we can see what we would draw. Barrels. We were 1 card away from punishing them for that? Oh my god. It is worth noting, Judy's ability is sorcery speed only, so we could not have Judied into that there. That's so disappointing. They were a card away from getting punished for that play. But alas, we are dead. And that's fair enough. They played a lot of real strong rares, particularly Katara being the best of all of them by a lot. I feel like that's going to be one of the strongest rares in the entire set as the draft format progresses. Card is completely ridiculous. That is going to be 0-1 heading into game 2. Alright, here we are for game 2. We don't have the second white source for United Front, but it's not the kind of card you want to run out super early anyway. So we have plenty of time to find another planes and end the game with just 1,000,000 ally tokens. Opponent's on the play with turn 1 Gran. One of the only ways to get Gran to guaranteed get that draw discard value immediately. It's like, yep, I don't have a 1 mana 2 power blocker, so Gran will get in. Messenger Hawk plus a clue token. Tolls of War into Kyoshi Warriors. So we really want to just be putting as many creatures on the board right now as possible rather than getting a bunch of clues currently. We want to maximize United Front in the near future. Foggy Swamp Hunters. It's a menacing lifelinker when they've drawn a second card in a turn. They attack with Gran into my 2/1. You would let Gran perish like that? Tragic, because I didn't want this trade because I have United Front. But I really did not expect that they would want it. No, just let me go wide. Creatures are dying all over. Down to 12. Holy, 5th swamp. Draw a card, play the blocker here. Threatening to triple block Swamp Hunters. Threatening to, but I won't actually do it. This is rough. Really have the... Yeah, I don't really have the life to play around with Obsessive Pursuit. Unless I can sack the 3 creatures in one turn. Or sack 3 cards in one turn. Zhao and Trebuchet. Or no, I can't play both of those. So I can play Zhao and equip, or I can play Trebuchet and equip. Trebuchet's the reach blocker for the Hawk. I think I gotta play Trebuchet here. Battle Fan on a blocker. For a double block on Swamp Hunters with 2/2 power creatures. Gotta play the land out here, so if we top deck the plains, we get that additional creature out of it. Can't be good. Oh, it's the Azula Strike thing. Yeah, that's really good here. Still keep the reach blocker though, so if we top deck planes, we still win if they don't have Quench. Wow. Okay. Swamp 6. Not dead yet. That's really bad. Go to 3. Now if they play anything that draws them another card, we're dead even if we hit the plains. Had nothing to do with this Firebending mana. Guess I could cast this now to play around Quench. But if they have a Quench for this, they would have a Quench for United Front. We would just straight lose regardless. Oh yeah, they've got the land that can just do that, so we had just no shot here. We hit 6 swamps before a second plains. We're on a 9-8 split. 9 swamps, 8 plains in this deck. Alright. That's how it's going to be. 0-2 heading into game 3. Alright, here we are for game number 3 with what I think is a pretty decent black-white sack deck, but it's 0-2 right now. We've had a rough go of it. We get bombed out hard by Katara game 1, and then just cannot hit double white in the second game. I believe we're against the exact same opponent again, and they have turn 1 Grand again, and they're on the play again for the turn 1 Grand, so the rough variance continues. If we're on the play here, having all this removal in hand, we kill Grand before she gets any of the value triggers. But they do get the loot off of her here. Since we're on the draw. I was supposed to kill her before they go to combat. That's on me there. But it is arguable that it's better to hold on to Heartless Act until their end step. They get one more loot this way, but if they play a much better 3-mana play, which they did, that fully draws them cards instead of looting, then it plays better. So, in my mind, it was better to kill Grand pre-combat, but because of exactly what they had in hand, it actually worked better that we played it the way we did, so that was kind of lucky. They've got Azula's in hand. +1/+1 counter on Grand, -1/-1 to Vindictive Warden. So we can't block there. Play Teo, that's going to get Iceberged. Can Iceberg and play a Barrels of Blasting Jelly? That's like a much bigger Grand that keeps getting bigger and bigger every turn. Draw and discard a card every time they attack. And get +1/+1 counters onto a flyer every time they do that. Alright, now they're holding up on blocks. I'm going to hold the Blasting Jelly up in response to their attempted Azula's trick here. And then just play Kyoshi Warriors. Yep, so they just take it, and here's Warriors. Pass. Again, Grand's a 2/3 and Warriors is a 2/2. If I block and they have that spell. So you can just take this damage and crack back here. Go to 13. Very fun. Destroy all creatures. Board wiped here. Each player gets a clue off their inspectors. We draw Zao. Keep double white. Because we just go land Zao here. Obsessive Pursuit feels pretty good. Here. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be some life loss here, but do some digging to try to have a lot more cards than them post-board wipe. This is so ridiculous. They had this mythic after they played against us already. So, like, they know different cards to search for because they've played against us. Sold out. Oh, let's go. I don't have any of that. They didn't tutor for something we played last game. Let's go. Still got them. We have the Barrels of Blasting Jelly to kill Sozin once he flips. That's super bad. Another card draw engine potentially. But I definitely can't kill that over killing Sozin. Toils of War? Toils of War Obsessive Pursuit is sick. Sozin does not have haste, because you exile it, then return it flipped. So we don't need to hold barrels up. Otter Penguin. That's really good with Sokka. They attack together, the Penguin's unblockable, and they draw a card. Doesn't do anything this turn, but it will in the future. Could finally get them to Azula's. They have that. Oh, did they not have Azulas the whole time? Oh, they did. It just got played a lot earlier. I forgot. Okay. Eight mana. I get to sack 3 things for the lifelink here, I believe. Off of Firebending. That's 1 sack. I need to put this in the right order, but it'll be the triple sack I need. I need Firebending to resolve first. I think this works. If this doesn't work, then I lose. Should be 2. Yep. Firebend. And then 3. And then lifelink. Yes. Gain 9. Yes. They're at 3 life. Let's go. That's the concession from our opponent. Obsessive Pursuit plus Zhao is insane. And this is another draft. We actually get a revenge game. We had one against Amy the Amazonian last time, and now get our revenge match against the blue-black deck. That is 1 and 2 heading into game number 4. I got so excited about that win, and then I remembered, gotta say the record now. I'm like, wait a second, what's the record? 1 and 2. Yay. Hey, we take what we can get. It's a united front. I think I need to play Tolls of War here, because I really need to hit lands, so I gotta crack this clue if we miss a land. We did not miss a land, so let's see if they want to quench a 2/2. They do not. It would be much bigger than a 2/2 over time in our deck. There's a mana dork for our opponent. We can exile that with the Iceberg. Kind of always bolt the bird style, but again with a big X mana card in my hand, I really want to hit every land draw I can, so I'm gonna crack the clue here and hope to hit a land for turn instead. Perfect. Honestly, United Front for 4 or 5 mana will be good enough next turn with 4 creatures on the board. Put a counter on all of those and make 2 more 2/2s. There's Haru. Untap a land, play an ally to get the Earthbend trigger. Yep, it's an ally mana dork. Cool. A little sad they have a 3 toughness blocker here. Against our board of just a million 2/2s next turn. Sad enough to play the Iceberg instead. Probably not. Just do this while they're tapped out. Lose 1, 2, 2, put them to 9. Ostrich, horse, mill 3. Pick up a forest. Land for turn. and full defense here. Play the Merchant and the Iceberg. Zhao sets up for the full board pump in the near future, which would be pretty gross with this wide of a board. But they also have like really wide blocks. I think I'm going to be mana efficient. I'm just going to go Merchant plus Iceberg here. Okay, removal spell on Peddlers, it looks like. Sure. Ooh, I get a clue token? A clue token, you say? We could iceberg our own creature to sack it and get it back later. This clue token was Zhao. Definitely a thing. Their lands tap for whatever colors now, and they draw a card. Okay, they're just cycling that to draw a card. Let's see if Iceberg resolves. It does not. But now, no counterspell for Zhao. So I can Zhao crack the clue. Go team go. Eat the North Pole Patrol and everybody else and hit for 3. Okay, hit for 6. Clear out all those blockers. They're at 3 life against a still pretty big board. 4 creatures out. Draw 2. Draw more cards, but they only have like 2 or 3 mana untapped. Let's go. That's 2 and 2 here. As we head into game 5, which will likely be the final game of Magic no matter what, as there are 8 minutes left in the playtime of this event. So see if we get a positive record at 3 wins and 2 losses, or a below average run here at 2 wins and 3 losses. All right, here we are on the play for what is probably the final game of Magic for today. This is a reasonable start. We don't have the black mana for Tolls of War, but we do. I lied. Perfect draws forever and always. Get the creatures on the board to get some damage going here, but I will want to play Tolls before I play Hey-Bye, so I'll play them turn 2. The trade is good for us here. Stop them from activating their big exhaust ability in the late game. That is a-okay. Tolls, and then Hey-Bye, and then double creature the turn after that. It's probably the curve out. Earthbend 2, so they get a tapped 2/2, and every landfall trigger upgrades this. Once it's at 4 or more landfall triggers, they get another +1/+1 counter every time they play a land. Cool. Here's a 5/5 and a 1/1. Thank you, Tolls of War. Very cool. Hopefully a 5/5 is too big for their green and red removal to shoot, because it's all going to be damage-based removal, generally speaking. Ostrich Horse, mill 3, pick up a land. They find forests as their options. They have a flashback spell. Earthbend X, where X is the number of forests you control. There are some really cool mono-colored incentive cards in this set. Like this one, and then there's the crocodile that does damage equal to the swamps you control and has lifelink. It's cool. Ooh. Reinforcements and hold up iceberg. Feels good. Deserters might be better, so I could attack with this ally as well. That's probably the wrong one to play, but definitely a 2-drop and an iceberg. Take 7, they say. Boom, go down to 13, and we will pass. We've already triggered the tolls. I could sack this clue just to draw a card, but we wouldn't get another 1/1 off it or anything, so better just hold up iceberg and crack the clue during their end step, if we don't need to iceberg something. Rockalanche, Big Forest. They go to end step, and we'll try to make it a 0/0 forest. Oh, it's non-lands only. Never mind. We can hit the horse. Probably better than cracking the clue still, so that's fine. This attacks as a 9/9, so it attacks through the forest. Deserters doesn't really change that. So let's see what the clue brings us. Another land. Okay. Block plus combat trick. Block plus burn spell, maybe. When this leaves the battlefield for any reason, we get to move its counters over. I'll have a 2/3 instead of a 2/2. But yeah, even if they exile the bear spirit, we keep all its counters. All right. Play a forest. They can make a 6/6 off the Rockalanche. 6/6 it is. That is not quite a 7/7. So we get in with our 7/7. Could sack Iceberg to scry 2 and get a 1/1. But they get back the 3/1. I don't think that's worth it right now. They're down to 5. They could Rockalanche onto the same forest, so it's big enough to block here. But that would tap out pretty much all their mana, and then the rest of the creatures would hit for lethal. If they block the 8/8, everybody else hits them. Destroy a land. Give us one back. Okay. And they draw a card. So I'm pretty sure they're just trying to draw the card there. There's an Earthen ally. So they could double block now. Okay, now they have tons of different ways they could choose to block to kill the 8/8, but no matter what, we kill the 7/7. So we have to do it. Double block there, have the 3/2 eat a 1/2 and go to 1 life. I believe this is an attack all. Put them down to like 1 if they want to kill the 8/8, which they kind of have to do. Or take the trade there and put them to 2. Nope, they're going to get the free kill and go to 1. Okay. They are dead to a light breeze. But that's 2 creatures off 1 spell. Fantastic rare there, the Earth King. And there's a food for life gain, plus the prowess trigger to make the Ty Lee 4 power, which means that attacking will trigger the Earth King and get another land, which will trigger the Ascension. It's a very, very good turn for our opponent, but they're just going to gain the 3 there. Fair enough. Team Avatar. It's not quite it. +3/+3 to an attacker each turn. Attack with a 5/6. That still is just a 1-for-1 trade. So do I just removal spell Ty Lee or Earth an ally? I mean, I could just attack with 1/4/4. The 1/1 is a 4/4 now, so I get to trade up. Yeah, it is probably that. I can scry 2 and get a 1/1, and they get a 3/1. It's an option too. But that 3/1 can turn into a 4-power creature with the Earth King on board. The Earthbender Ascension. I still don't think we can crack this iceberg. Well, if I do crack the iceberg, I have 4 creatures on board. So this attacks as a 6/7. But they still block with a 4/4 and a 2/3, and I only kill 1. So even if I crack this, I kill 1 card. Wait, no, 4, 5, 6. 6 is not 7. So they can't actually kill this because it'll have 7 toughness. If they want to kill it, I'd kill 2 of their cards. I believe. Yeah, I think I cracked this here. We would have majorly lost this game if I didn't crack that. Land are the next 2. So even with, if it wasn't the right play with the information we had at the time, if we knew that our top 2 were land, it ended up playing out the best regardless. Land for the trigger. Got 4 creatures against our 3, and ours are all 1/1s, so they kill us pretty quick here. Give them both trample, so our trumps are useless anyway. I guess I could chump 4 since they didn't put 1 on the bear, but I think I need to keep as many out as possible. Scry 2 lands away, draw a 3rd. That's probably it. So you get to trample up the board with the Ascension here. Yeah, no, that's it. I mean, the whole board gets trample off of the Earth King triggers. Just flood hard to end it off. The Earth King can search for every single one. Search for up to that many basics. But I think we're still dead. That's still exact lethal. Yeah, 13. I can -1 to the 13. All right. 2 and 3. It will be. Mediocre run to end it off, sadly. Still think the deck was really good. We had some very fun synergies. Oh, the event's over. I can't even look at the deck here. But yeah, we had some really fun synergies going on. I'm a big fan of the black-white sack archetype. I do think that it is a bit finicky. You have to have the right cards coming together at the right time, so it is prone to potentially ending up with some rough draws. The rough draws we ended up having, though, were the kind of draws that can happen any deck. Certainly some flood going on for a couple of those losses, which will happen. Yeah. I mean, it felt good when we started to rally. We start off 0-2 and then go on a little bit of a win streak, but just a little too many lands in that final game of Magic to drag us down to that 2 and 3 ending there. But again, as I said before, I don't know if black-white sack is going to be a particularly powerful archetype in this draft format. Probably not, because it is a little high variance in terms of getting the right cards during the draft and drawing the right cards during the gameplay. But it's probably going to end up being my favorite because that deck has been really fun to play around with. Get all those little Rube Goldberg machines ticking with the tolls. That was very fun. The clue tokens making the spirits. And then when you sack the little 1/1s to something else and then immediately replace them with another one so you can get that loop going over and over, like with the Hey Bye, attack, sack, 1/1, make a 1/1, attack, sack, a 1/1, make a 1/1. Just keep rolling in with that every turn. It's a really fun deck. It's a very fun deck. I highly recommend playing for fun purposes, if not for power level purposes. But that'll do it. That was the final draft of the early access event. The set will be out on Arena fully tomorrow, so certainly check that out if you are interested in the set after watching some drafts of it. I think it's pretty fun. I think the mechanics are great. Waterbending, airbending, firebending, and earthbending are pretty fun to play around with. I will say it is a little bit on the balmy end, but that is kind of the case with every draft format we have had since the Play Booster era, so that's nothing super new there. It seems like a really fun one with a lot of cool stuff going towards it, a lot of interesting archetypes and build-arounds. But that's going to end it here. So thanks again to Wizards of the Coast for providing me with the early access entry to record all these videos for you all. And that will end the Avatar: The Last Airbender early access events. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send us more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.